It's time. My name is Larry Guy Hammond. You probably haven't heard of me. My whole life I've been learning all I can about our government, its leaders, the issues, and the candidates. You could say I am a Fox News junkie. But seriously, I thought God wanted me to retire and go off into the sunset. I did go off on a 3-year odyssey for him. My wife of 45 years and I traveled 49 of these United States of America and 9 provinces of Canada. It was an amazing, aspiring adventure across America. She even wrote a book series about it called His Road Trip. America is beautiful, and South Carolina is right there at the top. We saw close up the many problems plaguing America. Our current news media is not reporting on how bad it really is. Through our own eyes, we saw the homeless in staggering numbers, drug addicts in the streets, crime, open borders with no barriers or checkpoints. In Big Bend National Park in Texas, we personally witnessed people coming and going unchecked through the narrow and shallow stream called the Rio Grande. Anyone could cross, and they did. Are they hard-working people wanting a better life? Perhaps. But history has proven that they aren't all hard-working, honest, God-fearing folks wanting to live and prosper in peace. There are drug traffickers, violent, mentally disturbed criminals, or terrorists. We need to do a better job to regulate who comes in and lives among us. Then there is the infrastructure. Roads are in terrible shape, bridges are crumbling and rusting away. As we traveled, we saw how each state deals with litter and beautification on the highways. Folks, South Carolina is not anywhere near the top of this list. Most of all, you notice people when you travel. There are people here from all walks of life, races, cultures, ideals, and beliefs. You notice their poverty and their wealth. You notice who's in power and who is struggling. You see it up close and personal. From the Hollywood elite in Malibu to the poorest of the poor in the tent cities of LA, just a few miles away. The tents stretch on for miles along the drainage ditches. On just about every corner of any intersection, there were beggars with their handwritten signs. You've seen them. They could be you or me if our lives had taken a different turn. Now, when I see them here at home, I wonder how people get to this point in their life. Did they just give up? Are they sick or addicted? Do they just need a job? Are they hungry? What can we do to address this problem in South Carolina? God has opened my eyes to these needs and given me the desire to make a difference. He has given me a heavy heart on the issues facing us. He is not letting me retire anytime soon. I get up each morning and pray. I ask, what do you want me to do today? Please guide me in the direction you want me to go and let me do it all for you. In Isaiah 35:5, he tells us, the eyes of the blind will be opened and the ears of the deaf will be unstopped. I did see what he wanted me to see. Today, I'm announcing my candidacy to serve as your congressman for the 7th District of South Carolina. I am not a person that has had a silver spoon in my mouth. I have worked hard in my life in businesses that I started from nothing. Some of them were successful, some were not. My income has gone up and down like a yo-yo. You see, I do not have a few letters before or after my name except CS, and it stands for common sense. I've enjoyed successes in life. I've experienced failures as well as deep personal tragedies. Did I learn from these? I sure did. I admit that I'm not the most articulate, smooth-talking type of guy. You see, I'm a normal person, middle class, and struggling through life. I'm like you, the 99% of America, and not the 1% of the rich and famous. It makes me wonder how our leaders in Washington can imagine life in our shoes when there are so many millionaires representing us in our capital in D.C. Yes, I am like you. I sin like the rest of you, and I ask God for forgiveness. But I know for sure I can make a difference in your lives if you give me a chance in Washington as your congressman. Together, we can reboot South Carolina and boot out the leaders not doing the jobs they were elected to do. Folks, it's this simple. I want you to prosper, to have money in your pocket, a better job, a greater future, more money for retirement, a better overall life for you, your children, and grandchildren. Some of our leaders want all that money for their bureaucrats, their giveaways, and to help fund their rich and famous lifestyles. And the good old boys' way of doing things, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Cronyism at its finest is alive and well in South Carolina. You pick which candidate you like. If you think it's better to have Washington spend your money, you have a great party, the Democrats. If you think it's better for you to have the money you make, you have a great party, the Republicans. There are basically 9 men who are your voice in Washington from South Carolina. Most say they are Republican, but vote like Democrats. The incumbent, Tom Rice, my opponent in Congressional District 7 of South Carolina, is more of a Democrat than a Republican. He ran on a platform of term limits back in 2012, but plans to run again in 2018. He didn't do what he said he would, leave office after his 3rd term. He had 6 years to give his district and South Carolina the opportunities that you deserve. Our forefathers never envisioned a system of government whereas the servants made a career of their service. South Carolina is being left behind. The numbers don't lie. You can view my website for all the details. It's your life, and you do deserve better. Congressman Rice has cast a consistent vote against taxpayers and the Republican establishment. In fact, the website Conservative Review currently ranks him as the most liberal Republican member of South Carolina's delegation to the U.S. House of Representatives. 6 years ago, Nikki Haley endorsed Rice when she was the governor and said, "I know what Tom Rice will do. He'll fight for us. He'll make us sure that he does the right thing, and he'll support us as we continue to fight the issues in Washington." Rice hasn't done that, though he's been a status quo sellout. I have great admiration for Nikki Haley, but Rice has not done what she had hoped for South Carolina. Just look at the numbers. U.S. News rates South Carolina at 45th overall in America on their Best State Interactive platform. This platform is designed to engage citizens and government leaders in a discussion about what needs to improve across the country. It's based on current statistics, news, and social feeds. Ronald Reagan once said, "My philosophy of life is that if we make up our mind what we are going to make of our lives, then work hard towards that goal. We never lose. Somehow we will win." The Bible tells us in Romans 13:1, everyone must submit to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist are instituted by God. I know I have a tough road to go to be elected. I know 90% of all incumbents win. I know I'm underfunded with no monies in my campaign. I know I'm an unknown. I know I don't rub elbows with the elites. Congressman Tom Rice has outspent his opponents in the last election by 16 times more. The opponent spent $90,000, Tom spent $1.5 million to get reelected. He has outspent and raised more money than any of his opponents in each election cycle over the last 3 terms. How does Tom Rice do it? If you review his top 100 supporters, you'll find companies outside of the district, energy corporations, and lots of trade groups and associations or lobbyists. The list grows more every term that he is in office. As I have said, Tom Rice ran on a platform of term limits back in 2012. Now he is going for his 4th term. I think he is liking the money and the power. I don't see him leaving office anytime soon on his own. Why should he? He's getting rich doing it. Just another congressional millionaire. Just follow the money. Each term cycle, he spends less on his campaigns, takes in more money, and banks the rest for his next term in office. Folks, we have another lifer in politics. Why would these companies donate to a South Carolina congressman? I'm not saying that anything is wrong here, but this is how the Clintons got rich. When you look at Tom's list of contributors and what happens every term, you start seeing a pattern. I'm not the smartest person on the planet, but could it be pay to play? Who knows? Even Warren Buffett donates to him. It's amazing. Of the 22 bills, which is only 3.6 a year, that Congressman Rice introduced to Congress, his money contributors show up as lobbyists, lobbying for the passage of or defeat of that bill. Each year, more lobbyists show up on Tom Rice's bills. In 2014, there were none, and that was his first term. Last term, there were over 41 lobbyists. Congressman Rice is on the House Ways and Means Committee. When Congress is drafting tax legislation, there is no committee busier and more popular than the House Ways and Means. Lobbyists often pay people to stand in the corridors of Congress watching every move. Since tax bills affect so many industries, bottom lines, it's little surprise that House members should attract generous donations from a variety of sources, including health professionals and insurance companies. Can a guy with a net worth of $63,000 even run a fair race against his money and influence and power? I think so, if the people can get behind him. It only takes one vote from each of you to stop this in Congress. Everyone needs to look closely at their chosen candidates and choose wisely. Is Tom selling you out on your dime? You make up your own decision. But I know if God is behind me, the battle is already won. I will put my faith in Him first. If you are willing to support me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please say a prayer for me, share this video on all of your social feeds, and help me spread the word. You can also send a small contribution. It would really help a lot. But most of all, cast your vote for Larry Guy Hammond in the primaries in June and again on November 6th. South Carolina is going to count on you. I always admired President Harry S. Truman. He was very down to earth and to the point. He once said, "You can't get rich in politics unless you're a crook." I promise I will work hard for you and do my job as elected to do. Will you support me with your vote for a better future for you and your children? It's time. Yes, it's time to reboot South Carolina and boot them out of office. Thank you so much for listening. This message has been paid for by Larry Guy Hammond for Congress. You know, that sounds pretty good. I've always wanted to say that.